everyone is counting Artyom Morozov out in his upcoming East versus West 24 right arm match against Ermes Gasparini. If you look around the arm wrestling community, fans are practically predicting an easy 4-0 sweep, where Ermes just dominantly toprolls him every single round. And honestly, I think I agree with them. To really understand why this matchup is a total stylistic nightmare for Morozov, we have to look back at the tape. Today, we are breaking down the exact fatal flaws in Morozov's game against elite toprollers, and why Ermes is basically a brick wall that Artyom just cannot climb over. Let's get into the analysis. Let's start by looking at Morozov's match against Georgi Tsvetkov. If you watch that match closely, Georgi controlled the hand the entire time. When Morozov tried to fight Georgi toproll to toproll, he immediately lost his hand and had to rely entirely on pure, raw side pressure. But when Morozov tried to switch it up and drag Georgi into a hook, what happened? His wrist got cracked instantly. Maybe Georgi's hand was just too thick for Artyom to get a wrap, but the result was the same. Even when Morozov lost his hand and transitioned to his press, he still couldn't pin Georgi, and he lost that match 3-0. Now, let's look at the absolute dismantling he took from Vitaly Laletin. Morozov tried absolutely everything in the playbook. He tried to hook Vitaly, but his wrist couldn't hold up against Vitaly's massive back pressure and side pressure. He tried fighting toproll to toproll, and his hand got blasted wide open. Some people think he lost because of Vitaly's massive height and leverage advantage, but I don't buy that. Why? Because look at Morozov versus Alex Kurdicha. Kurdicha has almost the exact same height and lever length as Vitaly, yet Morozov beat him. The difference is the style. Kurdicha has known trouble against guys with strong supination, just like how Jerry Cataret dominated him with the flop press. Morozov essentially did exactly what Jerry did to Kurdicha. The brutal truth is this: Morozov historically struggles against technical, rock-solid toprollers, and that brings us to Ermes. If Morozov struggled with Vitaly's hand control, he is walking into a dead end against Ermes Gasparini. We all know Ermes has an absolutely freakish ability to hold center table with elite back pressure and a riser made of steel. Remember Ermes's match against Vitaly? Ermes held the hit. And we know that when Morozov loses his hand, he immediately transitions into a flop press. But Ermes eats the flop press for breakfast. We saw Ermes' supreme toproll control in his match against Dave Chaffee. Dave has a very similar raw power and side pressure style to Morozov. But when they fought toproll to toproll, Ermes completely neutralized him. Ermes had the superior hand control, and even Chaffee's legendary pure side pressure wasn't enough to secure a pin. Ermes knows exactly how to handle opponents who get their hand cracked and panic switch to a press. He did it to Dave, and he will easily do it again to Artyom. In fact, if you look at his recent training footage, Ermes has actually been doing two-handed, Devon-style sparring to bulletproof his hand control even further, specifically for this matchup. The community prediction is pretty clear on this one. Fans have correctly pointed out that Morozov's only real weapon against Ermes is a deep hook. But Ermes's quality muscle and back pressure will simply never allow Morozov to get inside. If you want a terrifying preview of what's going to happen, just look at their past match on the left arm. In the very first round, we saw a glimpse of the inevitable. Ermes's back pressure completely swallowed Morozov. And here is the scariest part. Ermes's right arm is arguably way more dialed in than his left. So, how do I see this playing out at East versus West 24? Morozov will step to the table, try to set a high hook or fight the toproll, and Ermes's back pressure will just rip his hand open off the go. Morozov will be forced to transition into a flop press, and Ermes will comfortably catch him, bleed his arm out, and hit him with the counterpin. My official prediction is a dominant, fast sweep for the Gladiator. But as always, this is just my take on the table dynamics. Do you guys think Morozov has a secret weapon he's hiding? Or is this just a terrible stylistic matchup for him? Drop your honest predictions down in the comments. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you at the table.